Hi, everyone. Good afternoon for those who are in Brazil. Welcome to one more mentoring session of the Global Business Mentoring Hub for Startups. I'm Julia Marcelino, coordinator of the Global Mindset Academy. And for those who do not know, um, the Global Mindset Academy is part of Sterna Group that is responsible for courses and mentoring to develop the global mindset on those who would like to see their business going global. In today's session, hi everyone, welcome for those who just joined us. So in today's mentoring session, we are going to have Sarah Zimmerman from Zimmerman Pro to give us some tips on how to launch an effective international social media campaign. In the end of her presentation, we are going to open for questions and answers. So feel free to post your questions on the chat, if you will, and feel free to open the cameras and interact with us. With no further ado, Sarah, stage is yours.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very nice to meet you. Julia, if you guys talking to each other prefer that we either exchange the platform for today or something, just let me know, okay? Because I'm sorry for everyone who is here, but my camera, it is open, but it's not appearing to you guys. So please, Julia, if you want to talk to Raquel and Lucia there while I present myself. So, hey everyone, it's very nice to meet you all. And I'm sorry for any technical issues here. And I promise you guys, I will also record a video afterwards to send to everyone here. Today, we're going to talk about how to launch an effective international social media campaign. And it's important to say that it's impossible to talk about an international social media campaign without talking about an international brand strategy, okay? So if we think about it, you need to, first of all, decide if you're going with an international strategy or not. If so, it is important to understand what are the main targets you'd like to focus on, and then think about your brand, your global brand strategy, and afterwards you should think about, okay, I'm sorry, Julia, my camera is not working, so I don't think people here will be totally okay with that. What are you guys talking there to decide how we should proceed? Because I can suggest exchange the platform. How would like to proceed? And if people here would like to give any suggestions.
Yeah, I guess we can just go on, even if we can't hear you. We can hear you very well. If everyone here agrees with that, we can totally just get going in this platform.
Okay.
Is everyone okay with this? Yes?
I got Patricia saying here. Okay, then. I'm sorry, just because. Okay, thank you, Ricardo. Okay, I'm feeling better now. Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Sarah Zimmerman. I have 20 plus year of experience working with national and international projects. I have Zimmerman Pro, which is a marketing agency for national and international projects, but I also have the great pleasure of work with Sterna for more, well, since it has started in Brazil and then internationally. I work with marketing, inbound marketing, strategic planning, and sales. I am a professor at SPM and USP here in São Paulo. Today I'm speaking from São Paulo, okay, Brazil. But I have national and international degrees. I have a master's in business from USP. I also have a digital marketing certificate from Georgetown University. It is located, the university is located in Washington, D.C., in the US, where I have lived. I also have a degree from as international marketing specialist from Harvard, and have worked with several international clients, plus national as well. And with Sterna, I have had the pleasure of working with many companies, Brazilian companies, which plan to go abroad, but also the opposite, right? So international companies who are arriving in Brazil and focusing on our great target. If we think about, okay, so now if we go on, and I'm having trouble with my screen as well. So I'm gonna keep talking, okay, guys? And when it goes, you will see. Uh, if you think about an international social media strategy, we are thinking about, okay, you can reach a lot of people, right? Because we're talking about 8+ billion people in the world. So it is possible to reach much more people than if you think about a local business. Therefore, you do have a big opportunity on increased revenue. You can reach amazing brand opportunities. And if you think about it, you are reaching more people, then you are reaching more loyalty, if of course you do a good work on that. And at the same time, it is important that if you still think about going global with your social media, it is important to say that we do have cultural specifications and cultural insights and etc. And this cultural information and differences require cultural adaptations. Okay, so I was saying that before I was before my pause discussing my technical issues. I was starting to talk about, well, if you think about going global, still, we're going to talk about reaching people, right? And if you're reaching people, and especially if you talk about social media, and it doesn't matter if you have a B2C company or a B2B company, you're reaching people, right? Even if you're making business with other companies. Well, if I'm making business with other people, I need to talk to them. And we are in an area that, or in an era, not area, that we are talking about humanizing everything that we can. So we like human connections. And it means that on contacts, relationships, content for social media and other outlets, we need to adapt and we need to create this feeling of one-to-one relationship. If you think about it, then how can I create a global brand and how can I create a global message that at the same time makes an American creates makes an American like feeling a match between him and the brand, or uh, someone from Germany or someone from Australia, because there are different cultures, right? There are different behaviors. And if we think about different cultures and different behaviors, you still, even going global, you need to know where you'd like to reach first or how you'd like to be seen, what would be your positioning if you think about a global perspective. So if your main target or your entry target is the US, so my suggestion is, okay, you're going global, you're thinking about international content and you're thinking about an international language, of course, but you need to make some adaptations on your main focus. And if you're going global, and for example, you're starting through the US or North America, okay, my suggestion is make some adaptations to focus on this specific target and then go further to other projects, other countries. That's why we have main or global brands who start globally, but sometimes they also need specific help or specific social media channels for global, for local people to continue with this adaptation of content and relationship. Okay, this is very important to say. If you think about the international adoption, I don't know if you guys know, but after North America and some parts of Europe, Latin America is the third region which has more people connected. So it's important to remember that if you're thinking about going global with your brand and going global with your social media, you still have to think on how many people you're gonna target and how many people you're gonna reach on social media. Because sometimes, if you think about, if you're thinking from a Brazilian perspective, where believe it or not, we have 92% of our population connected, we might forget that you might need other channels if you're focusing on Africa or if you're focusing on some Asian countries, okay? So it's important to remember that even if you're thinking about going global with social media, you are going global with a brand, and you need to reach people on the specific channels that make sense for these specific people. Brazil, we are not only the third region that has more connected people on the internet, but thinking about social media, the the idea is the same here. We are the third population in the world who uses more social media. So we tend to think that everybody else is the same, and no. Uh, for example, while in Brazil we spend 3+ hours daily on social media, if you're planning to go to the US, they are going to use social media 60% of this time. If you're going to Spain, they use social media less than 50% of our daily usage. If you're going to, I don't know, let's go here to the Netherlands. Okay, so you're going from 3 hours and 30 minutes a day to 1 hour and 30 minutes a day. So watch out. Social media may not be 80, 70% of your strategy. You also need to check on some other channels, some other outlets, okay? So, and while once you decide where you're going, this is going to help you on which platforms you'd have to be, because we tend to think with our what we are used to. So, for example, I'm used to Brazil, right? So, of course, I need to be on WhatsApp. But if I tell you that if you go to the US or on many countries in Europe, your main social media for contact will not be WhatsApp. It could be, for example, Facebook Messenger. For my clients in Portugal and in the United States, we work mainly with SMS because of iMessage on iPhones and Facebook Messenger. So the first question is not which channel, or which social media, or what time should I post, or how many posts. The first question is where am I focusing, where I'm going, and then the second is, okay, so which platforms? Because depending on where you're going, you have different platforms. You also have different influencers, okay? And you also have different online channels. Okay, so you need to map where you're going. And then not map where you're going, but you need to understand the buyer journey on this region or for this culture. Side, I'm thinking internationally. Okay, so but probably you're gonna have your main focus on culture X or Y, right? And then it's important to understand that uh, everyone, and it doesn't matter if you're on a B2C or on a B2B buyer journey, you do have some steps people will have to follow to make that purchase. So usually, this is only an example, but usually we do have the step of awareness where the public doesn't we're not talking about a brand here. We're talking about the person has an awareness of I need something. Usually here we're talking about a pain or a dream, or and it can be a business pain as such, that okay, I need to increase the revenue of my company. I need to increase the customer loyalty of my company, or I need and then they're gonna reach to, for example, they're gonna think, oh, okay, I have an awareness of this problem I have, and then while this company, for example, goes for evaluation of possibilities worldwide. Oh, one of the possibilities is going global. And for going global, I can hire some companies to help me through that process. Okay, I can hire, for example, Sterna International Business. So during the evaluation process, the person will go to different channels and different people and will try to understand what are the options available in the market. It goes with these steps, usually is called evaluation or consideration, is where I go from awareness, where I have the awareness of the problem I want to solve, the pain I have, my business pain or a personal pain. And then I go to the evaluation, which is, okay, let me evaluate what the market offers for me. And then I have the purchase stage and then the usage, and so it goes. It's important to say that social media channels, they are used in the awareness stage, they are used in the evaluation stage, and many times social media are used as the entrance for the purchase stage as well. So you can have like an option or a Black Week sales something campaign on social media, on LinkedIn, for example, and offering you want to go up, you want to go global. Check it out with Sterna, etc., etc. We have this package specific here, and if you click here, you can go to the shopping cart, etc., etc., and make the purchase. But purchase on social media, these strategies are more used for B2C and buying processes that involve some kind of impulse. When we talk about sales with a bigger value offer, and it goes with a different pricing, social media is very important for awareness and brand awareness and evaluation, where you present your offers, but probably for the person to decide to go further with the purchase, she will probably talk to a consultant, to a salesperson, and so it goes. Okay. And then let's understand the pros and cons between local and global. Okay. If you think about localized social media, you're going to be more relevant on the content, right? And you're going to have great results with interactions, because you can talk, we're talking about language, but we are talking about trends, we are talking about plays and what's funny and what's not, and what people are talking about or not, etc., etc., etc. But if you go to localized social media, it's more expensive and it's difficult to coordinate all the accounts, all the languages, all the teams, right? So if you're going global and you are starting, the suggestion is, yes, have one global account, okay, but still focusing on your main targets. If you, now, okay, Sarah, but I don't have one main target, or I'm already established in 1, 2, 3 countries, and then I'm going to, I don't know, 2 more, 5 more, etc., etc. Should I have one account or should I have more accounts? It really depends on how important the content and the interaction for your public is. But I also have some other tips, okay, to go further here. If you think about, I literally created a roadmap for you guys. So these are the steps for going global with a social media strategy. You need to understand your global audience for step 1. And then step 2, focus on localization, okay? Not only translation of the content, but also localization of the content. And the idea is focus on your main targets. Step number 3, select the social media platforms that make sense for that culture, okay, for that public. Step number 4, collaborate with local influencers, people. Remember that I said that we are in the era of one-to-one contact. We are also in the era where people do not believe in companies anymore. We get an amazing ad and you think, yeah, beautiful, nice, etc., etc., but I don't believe it because everyone lies. We do have a specific, very interesting reports. If you guys are interested, please feel free to contact me afterwards. That presents the idea that today we are in a distrust area with brands. That's why influencers today are so important. And when I'm talking about influencers here, people, I'm not talking about Neymar, okay? I'm not talking about those, I don't know, those influencers with me, celebrities. We call them celebrities because of the number of their followers. I'm not talking about those guys, okay? Because many times they don't have a match with your public. They don't talk about what you're talking about. I'm talking about here local influencers they can have 2,000 followers, 5,000 followers, up to 10,000 followers. We're talking about the micro um, or the nano influencers, okay, who present much more engagement. And these guys, they get more results. You get the chance to work with not one, but two, three, four, five influencers at the same time. And most of them, if they are interested on what you offer, they are totally open to different kind of arrangements that do not include, for example, money. It can be some kind of commission, it can be some trade or something like that, okay? But it's amazing to reach people locally. People, you have two big options here. One, influencers. Second option, ads. I'm going to talk a little more about ads later here, okay? And people, I'm going to extend 5 minutes because of my technical issues. Is that okay, Julia? We started 3 to 5 minutes later, so I'm going to extend to a little more. Well, after step 4, collaborating with local influencers, then we go to specific engagement tactics. This is very important because different cultures, different behaviors, right? So different preferences on engagement. Do not think that everyone here follows the same pattern as your home country. Some regions, for example, I don't know if you guys know, but Brazilians love audios. Did you know that? That while we love audios, which is something I do not love very much, if you go to the US, if you go to the UK, please do not send audios. In Brazil, entire sales teams are prepared to send audios. And if you go to other countries, please do not use them. So uh, when I'm talking about specific engagement tactics, it really depends on time of engagement, but also what kind of format you're going to use, with what reach. If you're going to engage only with people who come to you, or if you should reach out and engage with other communities and other contents and other people and etc etc. It really depends on the culture, okay? And the last step here is time zone management. This is really important because usually you're talking about social media for brand awareness, of course, but also to insert in a market and then just to sell, right? And you're probably going to have sales campaigns, and you're going to decide that you're going to launch something on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Great. What time zone? Who should have access to this content first? This is something that people make a lot of mistakes. Watch out, because we are in a global world and you might launch something in Europe and people in Brazil will get frustrated because you do not have uh,
Hmm. Guess you logged off. Hi.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you. So going back to the time zone management. Okay, this is really important. Time zone management on the messaging, on the offer. Okay, watch out. Not yes, I saw some mistakes in here. So please take care of time zone management. Okay, I'm gonna, since I had these issues here, I'm gonna put some more icing, okay, on this cake, Julia and Raquel and Lucia and everybody else here. So Patricia, Ricardo, Letícia, Gustavo, Marcelo, I'm gonna give you some extra tips for international social media strategies, okay? Please take care that, or please pay attention that we're talking about going global with social media. You do need to go global with your brand. So regional localization is very important. You need to also take care on um, assuring you can use the brand, the speech, the messaging, the words you are using. This is very important. This is a pre-social media strategy. I'd like to also go back to this slide here and remember you that we might not only talk about social media, okay? One thing that I'm seeing a lot, and I do have, well, 20 years of experience, people are only focusing on social media and uh, they are only focusing on social media and only focusing on specific social media. For example, Instagram instead of LinkedIn if you are on a B2B environment. But let's not forget, we are also talking about the importance of Google. So we're also talking about your website, your e-commerce. We are also talking about email. We might get a little tired from email in Brazil, but internationally, you might get more results with a campaign on uh, social media or Google to attract emails, and then you might have so much better results with email than with social media, etc., etc. Okay. Um, and then if you're thinking about going global but getting local results, this is the extra. This is a material from a different mentoring session. But once again, I hope you like it. I'm giving you these extras because of my technical issues. Do not only work with local influencers, but then you get the option to work with target ads. Because if you're thinking about organic strategies, with organic strategies, you are reaching X people, okay? But these X people might not be paying attention to you. You might reach a lot of people, but people might not literally hear you. Or if you're going only organically, you might reach 5 people a day, 10 people a day. Well, if you go with an international content, you can reach people locally with ads. And with ads on many social media, you have different options and different formats. So if it's an image, if it's a video, etc., etc., it really depends on the platform and the culture. But then you can have localized. You can start with localized language, with localized idioms, with localized information, and then you can reach literally localized target audiences. Okay, so let's remember that when we talk about social media, we do have many organic strategies, but we also have many paid strategies, and working with both at the same time makes total difference. Okay, and finally, do not forget what is your target audience on these specific places, on these specific countries. You need to be sure on the profile you are trying to reach, and you might be reaching different people, okay, depending on what you sell, what your company does. You might be reaching to a specific, I don't know, the buyer person, but you can also reach, for example, the engineering leader X. You might be reaching the CEO of, I don't know, retail for retail companies. It really depends on what you sell, of course, but you might have different people on the buying process, right? And you might reach these different people, these different personas on different social media channels. So first of all, really understand who you are reaching globally, of course, but who you are reaching, what are the positions, what are the profiles. Because once you know where you're reaching, then you know which social media you should focus. Then you need to know who you want to target, so you can decide the best content, the best frequency, the best timing. And if you have, for example, 2, 3, 5 social media channels to focus on, you still need to choose what is going to be your main focus, right? Your target person will help you to make that decision. Then, final comment is make tests, and the suggestion is start with one channel and then go to the next ones. Quality is more important than quantity. And one big mistake here is you think you need to be everywhere. And this might be a problem because you might make mistakes, you might have not cultural fits, and it's better to start small and increase the strategy than the opposite direction. People, I hope you liked it. These are my contacts, sara@ziplo.com.br, and I'll be happy to send you any extra material, right, Julia? Because you didn't have the chance to see my face, right? I'll send you a video, a photo, and a material if you guys would like so. Okay, please feel free to reach out to me on WhatsApp, Instagram, LinkedIn, or email. I'll be happy to get back to you all. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Julia, you're on.
Thanks, Sarah, so much for your insights. Well, I hope everyone really benefit from all those tips. Now, do we have any questions? Please feel free to open your cameras if you would like.
I need to understand that I totally understand if they don't open their cameras, right, Julia? If no one see me. Please, Patricia.
Hey, Sarah, thanks for the content. I think there's a great start for us starting to think about this international opening. And my question for you is regarding the, like, when we start, we have a lot to think about, right? And do you think it's extremely necessary that we have like all of the website and all of our main, let's say, sources all in the language of the targeted country? Or do you think it's okay for us to start only with the social media, let's say, page, and maybe a landing page, like something smaller and easier to do in the targeted country local language? Do you think it's okay to start like this, or do you see it's important for us to have all of the website and all of the other sources, let's say, global ready?
Mm-hmm. Patricia, when you started asking, I was like, she's going to say only social media, only social media. And then I was like, I'm going to have to say that she needs to be on other channels as well. But then you said landing page. And then, okay, it calmed my heart. The idea here is because the issue here is if you think only about social media, and then if the person wants to go further, and probably the person's going to go to Google or something, they might not find the information they need, or etc. etc. You can have your website on the main language, but at least a landing page. And people, landing page, it's a page, okay, that you can use to convert leads. The main idea is that it's a landing page that converts leads, but it doesn't need to be necessarily a landing page. It can be like a page, okay, Patricia, but with the localized information. This is very important. Then you can start to play with these results. And you might say, but Sarah, I'm going to reach so much more people on social media. Why not only social media? Well, because when people want to buy something, they tend to go further on their buyer journey. So they're going to either reach for more information on Google and on your website, or they're going to reach for more information, for example, from your sales team. You need to be ready for both. If you go to Sterna, for example, website, or Global Mindset website, you're going to see everything in one or on the other language and the option to translate. If you go to my website, zipro.com.br, you're going to see this example. Everything is in Portuguese, but then I have one page that it's written on the menu, English. It's one page. With it's a little, I need to update some information there, but you're going to have you're going to see this perfect example. And I have been working with that for 10 plus years, and it works perfectly. Okay. Thank you.
Well, any other questions? I do have one, Sarah, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
I was wondering how important do you consider to be to hire in, well, either a marketing analyst or someone that's local to help to build the content of those social medias?
Amazing question, Julia. Well, the beauty of going global and the beauty of today's world is that you do not need local people, but you do need people, if they are not local, that are updated. They are not only very fluent with the language, but they need to read, to consume local content, because it's not only about translating, it is about the way people think on these specific regions. For example, it's very interesting. Probably everyone here, I'm going to tell you my experience. 10, 15 years ago, I was a student. So I was looking I wanted to study abroad. So I was checking university websites. And until today, if you compare a Brazilian university website with an American university website, or I don't know, some university from the UK, the user experience is totally different, because Americans and etc., they think differently when it goes to education. So they even structure their website for this different way of thinking. It's more about how people think, and then you express that on the user experience on the website. The same goes for the content. If you only translate, you might make some mistakes. So you need to localize. Okay, Sarah, I have someone fluent. I can localize. Well, it's a little more than that. There's a difference on how to work on call to actions, on every post. There's a difference on how to engage. If people engage only with reactions, or if people react with comments, etc., etc. So you can have someone from your team. That's why today it's so much easier to go global than it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago, because you can work with your local team, but they need to think global, and they need to be prepared to work with these local behaviors. Did I answer your question, Julia?
Yes, you did. Thanks. Marcelo?
Hi, Vera. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Marcelo from Captivate. I'm used to work with small companies, maybe sometimes doing trade marketing, or sales activities, the project, and so on. And I just would like to try to find some information with you, Sarah, to understand when you were starting communication, and you're going to use B2B or B2B and B2C strategies. And how can you separate this information? How can you give for those different clients or customers, whatever you can say, how can you treat them with different packs of information? I should say it must be very conclusive, direct, and straight to the point with them.
Okay, same company, focusing on B2B and B2C, right?
Yes, sure.
Okay, it's always a challenge. When we have two B2B, B2C, for example, B2C different personas is a challenge. My clients usually ask me, can I have 2 Instagram profiles? I'm like, no, I'm sorry, but no, you need to. So there's every case is a different case, but there are some best practices. For example, first of all, you need to understand what is your which one is your main persona, okay? Because if you have to choose, you're gonna choose to focus on the main persona. Another best practice is different personas usually go to different social media. So without having any idea on what companies you're talking about, because I understand you're talking about different projects, I would say, okay, but you have LinkedIn for your B2B clients, for the B2B persona, and you have or Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, it really depends on the age, etc., for the B2C. So it really, that's, here we have a different best practice. And you're going to say, no, sir, I'm sorry, but both of them go to YouTube or both of them go to Instagram. Okay, you still need to decide what is your main persona and what is your goal with that social media. And then you can start, for example, okay, my main persona, I'm going to write 70% of the content will go to the main persona and then 30% to the second persona. And then a final one, because some years ago, Marcelo, we had like, it was A or B, it was organic or paid media, and we didn't know how to go further. Nowadays, I would say focus the content on your main persona if you have only one channel. But then with paid media, create different campaigns for those other personas. And then with paid media, you can continue the conversation. For example, you can, if you're thinking about Instagram, okay, the organic content is for the persona A, but then you can have paid media for both of them, or for more than, if there are more than 2 personas. But okay, for that very specific persona, can work specifically with paid media and have a call to action, inviting this person to continue the conversation with me on either direct messages or another platform or a form, etc., etc. So I reach out to that other persona, continue the conversation on another channel, even if it's direct messaging on that specific social media, and you didn't blur the conversation organically with the main persona. But Marcelo, it is a chess game. Do you have any other best practices?
Yes, for sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's always difficult.
Do we have any other questions? Hi, Alexandre. Well, if we do not have any other questions, we are going to wrap it up, okay? And before, I would like to invite you to our, actually, before, thank you, Sarah, for the presentation. Even though we cannot see you, we could hear you very well, and that was very useful. Thank you. Well, I would like to invite you to our next mentoring session that is going to be next year in January, on January 22nd, that it's going to be in Portuguese on how to expand to Canada. We are going to have as speakers Cristina Hori from the General Consulate of Canada in Brazil and Marcelo Tavares from Global Affairs Canada. This session will happen at 9 a.m. Brazil time. I am going to send you I'm actually going to give you the link in case you would like to subscribe to this next event. And I'm also going to post on the chat the link to our landing page for the next mentoring sessions that we're going to have until May next year on different topics regarding internationalization. So feel free to subscribe to how many as you would like. Well, that's it for today. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for those who came. Well, since we're not going to see you this year, I wish you all a happy New Year, and I hope you have success in your global expansion projects for 2025. Thank you all for coming, and see you in the world.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.